Should be live.
I got a notification that you're live.
I didn't get a notification about your last one. I'm not sure why, and I have notifications on. Okay, yeah,
It's
we're live.
hit and miss.
Yeah, it's buggy once in a while.
Yeah.
This program is brought to you by Pepsi, whatever the hell this one is. Pepsi something zero.
There we go.
Okay, live from Canada. And where are you again? Indianapolis?
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Indiana. Okay, I get the two confused all the time. Indianapolis and Indiana. Same thing to me. I don't know.
I do have a subscriber headed down from Indianapolis, though. He's going to meet up with me in the morning.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thursday night hangout. Lando live. We got Ben already hanging out.
Howdy, gang.
Just give it a few minutes. See if anybody joins up. And then I actually have some topics today. I thought of something.
Yes. I saw, I got the chat up and stuff. I read the description or the title at the very least. So, talking about curing gas.
Oh, yeah. In kind of quotations.
Well, this is good because I'm probably going to have a serious case of gas tomorrow.
You're going to have it bad, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bought a few things from Sweetwater, and from what I've seen, it's a pretty cool place.
There he is.
Oh, hang on.
Live from Australia.
Sorry, one sec.
No problem. We're just
all right. There we go.
We're just.
So does this count as 3 countries or 2.5?
This would be 3. You're in. I don't know what you'd be called because Canadian in the U.S.
I'm a Canadian abroad.
Yeah, we got somebody from Italy. Massimo Ginelli, welcome.
Welcome.
Sorry, I'm late. The link
not
went
late.
to my junk.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I was like, oh, you've already started, Wesley.
Probably because of the URL or something. Got Lil David Ennis, say there.
Hey, David. Good to see you, brother.
So, Shane, I don't know if you know, Ben is actually down in the States near Sweetwater for, it's called Gear Fest.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw you posted a couple of part 1 and part 2 of a trip somewhere. So I didn't check those videos yet. But
every time I kind of pulled over, I figured why not go live for a minute or two to let people know I'm still alive and kicking.
Still.
Yeah, cool.
Matt,
you never can tell in the US. Hey, it's all just crazy stuff.
And Matt from Texas, how's it going? Riley from England. We got a good variety of people from different places in the world. Right now.
What,
awesome.
1, 2 in the morning in England? Nice.
I'll share this live stream on my feed. See if
we
get a few folks in.
So yeah, got a couple of topics I want to talk about. The newest thing, I guess, this week is the biggest thing I can think of is Fender Player Series. And last stream I did a couple weeks ago, I was gassing for, and Shane, it's your fault. You and Rick did that AC10 demo. The AC10.
Oh yeah.
With the Blues Junior, I think, the 2. And I hadn't played a Vox in a long time, but that chimey sound just got me interested again. So talk about that later. But
it's great.
The gas was stirred when Shane did it, and then the gas was sturdy more than when Lando started talking about it. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, you're hurting me here.
Yeah, I guess the difference is, though, I didn't actually have to. I just, I borrowed it from the shop, or we filmed it at the shop, so I wasn't out of pocket any cash. Right. But yeah, the Vox sounds great, man. We were both we felt like the whole single coil neck pickup on the Strat and Vox is just a perfect match. It's almost better than a Fender amp with a Strat on the neck pickup, and that's one of those things. I used to play Vox exclusively live for years. Like I had an AC30 C2 and a C1, and that was my sound. That and the Tally, and it's just such a great sound. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I've been playing my Strat through. Well, I'll talk about it later. We'll just get people joining first, and then got Terry here. Hey, Terry.
Yeah, look, just trying to set up the chat here.
Okay.
I see we got Cheddar Kumpau in the chat. Yeah. He's also in town here, getting ready for Gear Fest.
He mentioned that on Instagram. He commented. He said he might join in.
Nice. Awesome. Cool.
All right.
So, Ben, you just did. I caught it for a couple minutes. I mean, you had a chat or live stream about an hour ago.
Yeah, we did the big Thursday show. Richie joined about halfway through due to technical difficulties. Okay, I just got a message. My buddy's picking me up at 8 a.m. or earlier. Well, he'll be banging on the hotel room door.
So what's the actual event? Is it like is there bands playing, or is it kind of like what?
There's kind of like there's some music happening. A lot of vendors are there, but it's Sweetwater's anniversary each year, and they just throw a big party.
Nice.
I believe Robert Baker went to the one last year.
I think he's going to be there again this year.
Oh, don't do that again.
Somebody exploded.
That was scary.
I was just adjusting my volume level.
Okay.
It's like full of dust, that pot. It's just like.
Well, that is $14 or whatever from a China-produced mic. So,
how come you don't use your gaming headset on this computer? I always ask you this. I'm not too sure. That thing sounds so good.
Because it gets in the way.
All right, cool. Actually, your mic sounds good today. So
it sounds good. We got Mitch there. Hey, Mitch from Hanover, PA. I'm not. Is that Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not too bad with the state.
I saw Matt Jones said, I have gas over the new Fender Player Strat. I got to try one out today, and it's good. Yeah, I did a review on one of them, and I'm not a Strat guy at all, but that one I want.
That one has
I want, hands down.
The soft V neck or soft C? They changed something on the neck versus the...
It's a small neck, which I like, and what shocked me was, and I didn't even think of it, because I've kind of been playing some locking trem guitars here and there lately. So I did a big dive bomb on it, and I went, I'm shooting a video, and I just dive bombed a Strat. And I brought it back up perfectly in tune. So I'm like, let's try it again. Did it a second time, stayed perfectly in tune. I went, I want this Strat.
Nice.
Yeah.
2-post trim, probably.
It is.
It is? Okay. Yeah.
And that's probably why.
Nice.
That's the biggest issue with most of the vintage 6-screw, vintage saddled trims is supposedly instability. But again, depends on how you set them up. And sometimes you do get a total dud that, isn't very good for a tremolo. And other times, you can buy aftermarket parts and actually make a, perfectly fine.
Got Chris from West Palm Beach. Hey, guys.
Thanks.
And R3 Locking Nut. How's it going?
My brother from Chicago.
I see him on Ben's stream a lot.
We got somebody named Ben Combs in the chat, too. Hey, Ben. How's it going? Oh, hey.
Looking good,
I think I said that last time. I was looking at the names, not even realizing I was talking to you. All right. So, got a couple of things here. So, the gas I was talking about a couple weeks ago, I cured it, right? There's no cure. You can temporarily relieve it. I went to, it's kind of sitting right there. I went and played an AC10 in a store and an AC4. And the reason I even thought of the AC4 was I wanted the 12-inch speaker. So I like to do mods, and I want to do more swapping of speakers. So the AC4, if you don't know what that is, it's a 4-watt, 12-inch combo. And it's pretty basic. There's a gain, volume, bass, and tone, and that's it. And then you can do a line out, too, into a cabinet. So I thought that was cool. And it was about $100 less than the AC10. So that cured my gas for now. It's got the Voxy chime for sure.
Sure.
It'll probably be close to being as loud too. I mean, it'll saturate a little earlier, obviously, but volume-wise, I'm sure it'll be pretty close to the same volume. That's cool. They're great little amps, those things.
It's pretty cool. AC4, is it an open back or a closed back?
It's closed. It's got a tiny little opening on the bottom like that.
Okay.
So I think you'd call that a close. I guess it's just a little air can get
just kind of hoarded. Sure.
But it's I've got a custom 12-inch cabinet there. It's not much smaller than that. So I've had it cranked. I've cranked it, and it's sounding a lot like my AC15 did, especially in this room because it's a small room, and I never really had the AC15 cranked up that much. But it's definitely got the same tone.
You're starting to get the Tone King thing behind you there, mate. Look at all those amps.
I know. Well, he's got the whole PV series, though. I just have the one.
Yeah. I think he's got all of the series of all of the amps. Yeah.
I've got Jamal. Hey, Jamal. Send him the invite,
Jamal
too.
said, guess where I am.
Is he at work?
That's what my guess was.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't stop him. So
yeah, he says he's
As long
off
as
at
he keeps his pants up.
oh, off at 10:30. Okay, well, off at 10:30. Okay, maybe he'll join in later. Yeah, so that's sort of cured my Vox gas for now. Anyways, I had an AC15 for years, and I sold it to finance one of the guitars over there, and I missed the sound after a while. And it's definitely so I have the Marshall kind of as my rock thing, my my PV as my sort of clean Fendery kind of sound, and now I've got my Vox back for the chimey. I'm into
Nice.
British sounding stuff right now. I've been listening to Oasis a lot recently, which I haven't listened to in years.
I won't hold it against you.
That's all right. Noel Gallagher. He's a good songwriter. Despite what everybody hates about the brothers, he's a great songwriter.
Yeah. They would have made a great trio out of the box.
What's that?
That's all I say on that band. That band would have been a great trio out of the box. Like if Noel had just been the front man from day one.
Well, he wrote all the songs, right? I think Liam just sang them.
I just, you see footage of where they were supposed to appear and Liam would be a no-show and Noel would go out anyways and still perform.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm listening to him, I'm like, dude, you can do this.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happened. He does now. He's solo, right? They broke up about 10 years ago. We got anybody else new there? We got Lil David Ennis. How's it going? Matt Jones.
Out of Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia. That would be, is that where, no, I'm thinking of somewhere else. I was thinking of Columbus, Blue Jackets.
South of St. Louis.
I always think hockey teams, right? All the cities I see. Pepsi.
Yeah. I won't hold it against you.
This is Sean. Sorry, this is Shane's doing.
I reckon, I don't know what Canadian stuff tastes like, but the Pepsi Max in the US doesn't taste like ours. It's slightly different.
This one's pretty. It's not called Max, though. They're calling it Zero because
okay.
Coke Zero rebranded as well. It's pretty sweet, though.
I don't know why companies do that. It makes no sense.
I don't know. Yeah. This one has double the caffeine of Diet Pepsi. I just saw it on the back here.
Oh, yay. So you're going, what, 5 hours tonight live?
No, I'll probably crash hard, and we'll see.
This live stream is not brought to you by Pepsi or Pepsi.
Cheddar.
I'm actually on the LA Maxi Ice at the moment. This is $1, so I thought,
All right. I gotta give a shout out to Cheddar. He just gave us $9.99.
Wow. Ooh, nice.
Split it
so we got
4 ways.
Yeah, there you go.
That's like $1 million Canadian.
Get that.
That's like $14 Canadian.
Oh man. I won't do it.
Cheddar's a very
$20 Australian.
I'm not sure. I reckon Cheddar could be a millionaire in disguise, man. Because
he's dumping money on everybody.
He's always using the super chat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that word. That's what Rick says when he's on your.
And he keeps, I know. I told him off air. Stop doing that, man. I don't want to.
Oh, it's good. I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thanks, Cheddar, man. I appreciate. Well, I know Landon appreciates that. So cheers.
Yeah, that's my first. I think that's my first one.
Oh, I might do one while we're here too.
No, don't. I don't need. It's good.
So I had a bit of an interesting experience with something that I had no expectations of. I think I sent Landon an email message. I don't know if you guys are aware of the Mooer brand or MOOER, however the hell you're supposed to pronounce that, right?
Through you.
This thing is a digital amp sim / modeling effects pedal, right? It's like it's the GE200. I've seen some reviews of these online from like big YouTube channels, and they miss the fact that you can load third-party impulse responses into this. So it essentially becomes like the Kemper to some extent. You can't profile amps with it or anything, but you can load basically like cab and amp IRs into it. So you've basically true referenced, tones. I'm doing a gig tonight with my friend Brian, and we're going straight into the PA system because the stage is so small. This is like has completely surprised me. A lot of the videos I've seen haven't really tapped into how good this thing is, and I can't believe I've enjoyed it as much as I have. I reckon if you're looking for a home studio tool that doesn't cost $3,000, far out, it is really, really good.
Cool.
I'm stunned how much I've been using it. Headphones and everything. Just really, it's got drum machine and everything built in, looper.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, it really sounds good. And then I plugged into the Kemper, and I went, you know what? There's not a lot in it. There's not a lot in it. There's a little, obviously, a little bit of an advantage to the Kemper, but
right.
This GE200, anyone who's looking for an all-in-one, it's basically like, it looks like a stomp box kind of tool, and it does have some of that, but it's more of like, once you set it up, that's how it sounds. The buttons on the front don't really control a lot. It's weird, but there's a lot to know about it. But I'm like stunned how good digital, or this particular effects pedal sounds, or amp sim sounds direct to a mixer. It is unbelievable. It's all how I felt about the Helix and how I felt about the Kemper.
Yeah,
this kind of does the same thing, but it's way like it's like $300.
Yeah.
And I reckon these things will take off. I really do. I've sort of had mixed experience with Moore stuff over the years. I don't mind their pedals. I'm not a fanboy.
Right.
This is like the first thing that I feel like is a bit of a game changer for its price. Like there's nothing else like it. The closest thing is a Line 6 Helix, which is about $2,000 here.
Oh, wow.
$2,500. So
I'll be honest, that's what I thought that when I saw G200, I thought that was a Boss product. Just the naming.
So I was just
it does sound like that as well.
They ripped that off kind of. And then I thought it was the Helix because of the shape. And so I totally didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's weird because you think these would be like the stomp buttons on and off for the effects, but it doesn't work like that. You sort of just basically make a patch and then you can cycle through them. So you can like have one with an overdrive pedal on, one with it off, one with delay, and then you just cycle up and down through the presets as opposed to turning effects on and off. It's just got everything, man. I'm like stunned at how great the stock IR sound in here, as well as the ones you can load them in from other pieces of gear too. So it's actually like, I wonder if this will become like the Fender Mustang of its price point. Like there's nothing really like it on the market that's anywhere near this price, at least that I know of. Anyway, it's crazy good. It's crazy good.
I'd like to check one out for sure.
They're the Bugera of effects pedals.
yeah, that's it. But this is just a great studio tool. Like I said, as soon as I plugged my headphones into it, I just went, no way it sounds like that. So I plugged into the Kemper and I went, oh, okay, yeah, it does sound really, really good.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, I reckon get a chance, check them out. A lot of the videos don't do it justice. It's one of those things where, when even stuff like the Fender Mustang came out, a lot of the videos didn't really show you its capability, but this thing I can't wait to try it tonight too. Like, I'm going to see if I can get some footage of it straight into a PA system, because the sound I'm getting at home here through the studio monitors and headphones is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, let us know. I'm curious how it goes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say hey to, we got Phil and John, ZD351. That's John. I'm guessing I invited him to the chat as well. I'm going to guess you're at work, maybe. What time is it there, Shane? It's lunchtime?
Yeah, it is. It's 12:15.
Friday. It's Friday there in Australia. Cool. Mary O'Kane, how's it going? And Island Winder. The other, so yeah, let us know how that goes tonight with the G.
Yeah, I'm curious on that.
Is it have they had other models? Is that the first like G200? Is that like?
I think there was a 100 possibly that was out a while back, but I think it was just a modeling platform, which is kind of what this is, but you didn't have the ability to, I think, load third-party IRs into it. So if you got your favorite cab, I'm pretty sure I could grab like one of the Torpedo Live speaker cabs and run it in on this unit. Like that's the kind of thing that this can do to some extent. But yeah, it feels unbelievably great. Like most people wouldn't be able to get a recorded tone that sounds like that without years of experience and engineering. It's just like line out straight into the mixer and
there we go.
Sorry.
That's it. Terry gets a 2-minute penalty for interference.
Headphone mic.
We need a moderator. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah. Cool. I just wanted to ask you guys about the this week, the Fender. Apparently, it's the worst kept secret from Fender. The Fender replacement of the Mexican line, the Fender Player series. You know, Ben, you've tried a couple.
I had my hands on them last Saturday, so
that's cool. Anybody else seen them? I'll talk about something in a second. I just want to know if you guys have had any experience so far.
Oh yeah, I played 3 of them so far. So,
Shane, did you see any at Sky yet?
Nah, none have turned up. I haven't seen any in Australia yet at all. I don't think anyone's got them. They're not too far away.
I went to a local store here in Ottawa, and they didn't have them yet either.
Really?
Rhymes with Long and McQuaid. Whoops.
See, that's weird because my guy got them in
Long and
4
McQuaid
weeks ago, I would say.
Yeah, I guess depends on the store.
And he kept telling me, he goes, dude, get in here. So that way, he goes, the only rule is you cannot post the videos until Tuesday at 10 a.m. I went, yeah, not a problem. So
or they'll come and take
I did manage. It was taking so long. We were having a problem with YouTube uploading that we got one video out around 11 a.m. Tuesday morning, the day of. And that video has gone viral considering the size of my channel. Like, I have a lot of views.
One of the first to have one. So
yeah, it always helps. That's one thing I used to try to do a lot of. Once your channel grows, it doesn't matter too much. But once, that's the way that you will get found a lot easier. Is doing stuff that no one else has done yet. And usually
doing better tags. Thanks for the info, Shane.
Right.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd give you some. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just so there was, and I just want to say there was an article, not even an article. If you guys know Reddit, there's a subreddit called Guitar, and I shared this with Shane. It's since been taken down, but so take it with a grain of salt. But there was a guy that was claiming somewhere in the States he worked for a music store, and they got in a shipment of these new guitars, the Fender Player series, and I forget the number he said, something like out of 20 guitars, 12 were sent back or something. And he just went on. The subject was, don't buy these guitars, at least online. And it was pretty descriptive of what the problems were. He said all the pots have been replaced with Chinese pots instead of the CTS. All the not all, but he had
that's what most of the MIMs came with before the standard series.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying what he said though. And then he showed pictures of the nuts being cut incorrectly, like they had big gaps or small gaps. Anyways, this thread was huge. It had like 1,200 comments, and it's since been deleted. So I don't know what happened with that, but I don't know, just something like that. I don't know if Fender, if they could have had some kind of impact.
Fender could have maybe stepped in, yeah.
Right,
like, totally. Shops are
really bad for business.
With Fender, literally have to sign an agreement that says they're not going to put out negative press about them.
Right.
That's what they do. So yeah, I think it was 18 out of 30. Or no, yeah, you could be right. 18 out of 20 something. It was like
high though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
So I mean, that stuff happens, but that's not a good first day article that I saw, anyways. So that's an initial bad taste that I got, and I haven't even seen them yet. So I'm gonna ignore that. It's been deleted, and I'm gonna go check them out for myself.
Well, they can't let Gibson have the spotlight all the time.
Yeah, somebody's got to stroke QC at some point, right?
Badly cut nuts. I think there was another thread on Reddit that was the same size that was talking about that. With
like I said on my stream earlier, I played the new Strat, and I'm not a Strat guy. I think I mentioned earlier, and I want that Strat. I played the Telly, loved the Telly. What was the other one? The Jaguar. Played that. I'm not even an offset guy, but it was cool.
Yeah, they got a bunch of different colors now too.
Mm-hmm.
Some I'm not really loving.
Sense, like they're doing a 10% price increase, but they're increasing the pickups on the hardware. Not more than offsets a 10% increase, in my opinion.
Well, I think the big thing with it that I notice is its mods.
Oh,
did Terry freeze on us?
He's thinking about it.
Oh, okay. It was deep thoughts with Terry.
You froze there, Terry.
You paused for effect.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't hear what you said. I think you froze, unless it was a joke.
No, I was just saying that most of the mods on these player series are actually mods that people would do to them anyway. So I think in that aspect, it's good.
You're saving money,
But
right? In that respect, especially if you don't do the work yourself. Like if you're paying somebody to do these mods, oh, forget about it. And yeah, you know, the I guess the sticker shock initially when you look at a price tag, you know, in Canadian dollars. But like I was telling you the other day, Terry, you know, I bought a Mexican telly a couple of years ago that was not a baseline. You know, it was the dual humbucker, high output, blah blah blah. And here I am playing the new, you know, replacement for the standard, and it's $30 more. And I was like, okay, I get it. You know,
here I'm gonna bring up a shot here. I've got a site up here, the Fender official site. I will share that out right now. Take a look at an example here. There's
sage green metallic.
It's interesting. It's got the what do you call that? The around the humbucker, something you see on a Gibson usually.
a pickup ring.
The ring, yeah.
Yeah, my dual humbucker telly has it.
Okay.
And the same bridge too. Those vintage saddles.
Yeah, I think they all have that.
Cheese grater. Yeah, that's the one mod I do right away. Is I replace that with the thick modern saddles, which I got to order a set. Thanks. Well, actually, I might look tomorrow. I might find a deal at Sweetwater.
Oh, that's right. They should have one of them there.
I just thought, I'm like, I got to look into that. Wait, where am I? Yeah.
I'm just having a look at the chat. I've kind of been ignoring it. If anybody has any questions or anything, it looks like dramatic pause. Yeah, I think they just saw when Terry froze.
Yeah. And Groovy Ghoulie mentioned 2-4 earlier, and Groovy Ghoulie, I got my 2-4. So there's your Canadian content. Canadian beer in Indiana.
We're being sponsored by, is it, what is that, Labatt Blue?
Labatt's Blue.
American.
Labatt's not just for Canadians anymore.
Pepsi.
To anybody that just joined, Ben is visiting Sweetwater's Gear Fest event. Is it all weekend, or is it just one day?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then, and Cheddar's in town too.
Right.
Cool.
So you should have.
Where's Cheddar from? Is he based in the US or is he somewhere else normally?
I think he's in the US, right?
I want to say Michigan for some reason.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah,
I want to say Michigan, but
cool.
I just recently started following him in the last month or so. So I'm honestly, I knew him more as a fellow guy in the chat.
Right. Yeah, same. Yeah. I'm subscribed to him now too.
He's saying, Shane, he's saying you ignored a question.
Oh yeah. I remember that one
now. Where is it?
And thank you, Riley. Riley just subbed.
Was that today? I'm not sure.
He says here, okay, yeah, Cheddar's 2 hours away in Michigan. Oh man, you had an easy drive compared to me.
Michigan and then Indiana, right?
Yeah. And he probably briefly went through Ohio to do it.
Okay, yeah, that's better for him. Got somebody else here. Where did I just see that?
Kevin Belton just got back from Edmonton. Lots of Labats. Nice.
Labats.
Cheddar Kung Pao from parts unknown.
Oh, yeah. Shane, there's a question for you there from Six String Lefty, if you want to.
Yeah, I saw that. Not sure if this is the right place to ask, but he goes, recently got a Gibson 2018 Les Paul Junior left-hand, and the volume and tone pots are wired backwards. That's absolutely normal. So backwards, yeah, they basically, imagine you just bolted the neck on the opposite side. They wire all their Gibsons with right-handed wiring, basically. So all on is reversed, and all of my guitars are like that almost, except for my Fenders. So the PRS has right-handed pots or right-handed wiring, so the backwards is on. My little Crows are that way, and I opted to have them that way because I'm so used to those guitars going that way. My Telecaster and Strat go forward, as in regular. I've got a couple of Squires here at the moment as well. Oh, nice. On is forward, so towards the headstock, which is how it should be. But all Gibsons and Tokais and any of those guitars, except for Epiphone have it the right way around.
That's something I never saw. I didn't even think of that.
So when you turn up the volume, you turn it counterclockwise?
Yeah, on my Gibsons, yeah. And PRS, so backwards.
Well, it makes sense for volume swells. Okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
I always meant to ask you that on your live stream, Shane, but you get so many questions, and I'm like, I'm sure it's been asked. But
no,
there we go.
It's all good.
No, I know.
Yeah, Shane, I was going to ask you, Shane, How's the how do you find the neck is on the Affinity compared to the Squire Contemporary? Find it's the same finish?
I can't recall the other one exactly, but it's pretty good. Like,
it's pretty unfinished though, right? It's just kind of a raw.
Yeah, it is a dry sort of a dry satin kind of unfinished kind of vibe. It feels like it's got something on there, but it's not. There's not much.
I think it's just a skim seal, isn't it?
This plays great.
Yeah,
I was really surprised how, and it stays in tune really well too. Like. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But, it's super reflective. Like I've never seen a guitar that's as reflective as this. Like it isn't. It's really insane. So
the basswood body, I think that's what they
are. Yeah, I think you know what? I haven't looked it up, but it would be something. It's really light. I don't know if it's probably hard to see this, but the pickup pole pieces are really high out of the plastic. Mm-hmm. So the bridge pickup's got so much attitude on this thing. It rocks. It feels like it's really like loud and in your face. I kind of dig it.
Nice, cool.
But
what's the price there in Australia? They're $269 here in Canada. New.
Yeah, I don't think they're that much.
1,000 Australian.
They're probably around 350-ish. I would say something like that.
Okay.
Which is okay for those kind of guitars.
Yeah.
I was going to say the neck on that kind of reminds me of the Harley Benton TE52 neck. Like it was a really thin urethane kind of finish on the neck.
Right. Or the Harley Benton copied the Fender and Squire.
Yeah.
yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely.
This is our imitation of a Squire. Really? Okay, sure.
Matt Jones is saying, sorry.
No, go ahead.
They got a satin finish on the Fender Player Series, so that's kind of like the standard series. That's what I've got on both. These are both Mexican. That's a Tele 2004, and that's a 2017 Strat. They're both
too much finish on the back of the neck. You can always take it off, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I do.
Sand down some of mine with light sandpaper to just take off some of the high gloss.
Yeah. Like
I use over with steel wool every other string change. I find because over time it basically polishes again, but I don't want to take all the finish off. So I just take another skim every time, and another 3 or 4 times on my Mexican Tele it will be bare wood at this point, but that's fine. Cool.
I was going to say another interesting thing about this Player Series and the Standard Series now being discontinued. That's now going to make them also go up in price now, probably.
Dude.
Maybe.
Yeah. I haven't seen any price changes. You mean just in general, like people reselling them, or?
I don't. Yeah, we didn't see a price change with the American standards when they discontinued them.
Did they clear those out? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's now the American Professional.
No, I know that. But I just mean the prices. I don't remember. Like I have one of the Professionals. I just don't remember the American series being discounted.
Oh, I think they're just gonna. I think the standards will just stay on shelves as is, and then once they're gone, right? It's amazing, like you go in and everyone's like, oh, we have this great selection. Start looking at serial numbers and you see a bunch of 2015, 2016s, even 2014 guitars listed as new, and you're like, well, I guess technically it's new, but we're getting into a 4-year-old guitar here.
New old stuff.
Sorry to interrupt. We got Hunter there, Eggafish in the chat. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Hunter.
He's hey, who made him a mod? Just joking. He's a good guy.
Don't look at me.
Ban him before he starts swearing. we don't have his air horn sensor thing.
No. Did you guys watch the latest video with Steve? He did a video.
That was funny.
That was hilarious. I loved it. I'm not gonna ruin it. You got to go watch it, guys. If you haven't watched or seen Eggafish channel, go check it out and check out his latest video that he did with Steve from Boston. They were at Toman last month, I think, and they did a video comparing the Harley Benton, the cheapest Harley Bentons against the equivalent, what was it, a Fender and a PRS custom. Pretty good video.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought it was, if you like that kind of stuff.
I do. I swear my favorite thing to come out of that Toman event is all these mashup videos.
with the people. Yeah, I like those too.
Yeah, I really like that, because different personalities and you get something unique out of those videos.
Yeah, for sure. When you're used to one guy just talking alone in his video, and then you combine the two, it's pretty cool. And Shane, I think that's what's I like about the Sky, the videos you're doing recently with Rick. It's cool to see you both just hanging out and doing some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot less sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's just us hanging out, making videos, as opposed to, like, I try to keep the standard of my channel at a particular point with the way I deliver the videos and the way I talk and all that kind of stuff, and get straight to the point. But with those videos, we just thought, no, we'll take a real relaxed approach to it and just have a bit more fun and or have a different vibe about it. So it's been fun.
Guerrilla tactics. I like that. Much more raw. It kind of reminded me of like the way we shoot ours just live. Like the fact when you were doing a comparison between the two AC30s, and I'm watching you plug from one amp to the other. I'm like, brilliant. I love it.
Every video you've seen so far was all shot in one night, right? So we did 10 videos in one session.
Wow.
Which was the entirety of June. And then we've already shot 10 videos in a second session, which is, so all of July's already done.
So Rick's probably deaf now, right? Because he doesn't wear
earphones. We're both. It was loud, man. And the funny thing is, like, I'm really time efficient with what I do. I'm really great at it. But when you're in a situation where you're the producer and the guy in front of the video, and there's no reference monitors, like when I shoot here, I don't know if you can see it. I got a couple of screens I can use for seeing where my focus points are at and all that kind of stuff. And my lighting's really consistent. I got to bring everything over. I've got to set it up. I got to move cameras around. I got to make sure the audio's working. There's a lot that can go wrong. So it's a really big night, but the most efficient way for us to do it is just sort of turn up and have fun and not get too carried away with the specs. Just make some noise, and that was the idea of that channel, just to have some fun. And it seems to be going over really well. Like, it's grown really well. A couple of our videos took off, which had like 15,000 views in a couple of days, which was really surprising for a new channel. That's almost unheard of. So
that's really good.
It's been really cool.
Yeah, I definitely like it. It's cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot, actually. And the guys at Sky, the guys that own the shop, he's right behind it. I had a chat to him the other day, and he's like, he's pretty confident it'll keep going for a while now, which will be good too. So it's good to sort of have I know a lot about how YouTube works and the best practices and all that kind of stuff, but I don't always follow them for myself because I get things in that I know won't be high traffic.
Right.
So, but I do them anyway because I know there's an audience for it to some extent. And sometimes stuff surprises me. I'll do a video I have no expectations for, and it takes off or it does nothing. It's one or the other. But this is like, I wanted to approach this with everything that I've learned to see how fast it can grow. And it's really doing quite well already. So it's been a fun, and it's a good learning experience for me as well, just to try something new and see how it goes.
I have a question for you on that, Shane. Kind of related to that. Now, like you say, like you've been doing videos for quite a while now. I'm sure you do a video, and like you say, it's going to do basically nothing for you channel-wise, but your viewers, especially the long-time viewers, are going to love it. So, and I can see you're like, you know what? I'm putting it out there because I know this is, might only be 30% of my followers will enjoy it, but I know those 30% are going to love it.
Yeah, or less. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I look at it differently. A lot of YouTube channels won't put a video out unless they're paid or unless they know it's going to be a high traffic video. I look at all reach as important because people that aren't looking for something in particular might just be looking for that thing, and that can help you grow. It creates a lot of links from other websites back to your YouTube channel, and I look at it in a different way than I think maybe than a lot of other YouTubers do.
Yeah.
And I like the fact, like, I think my channel was kind of formed on somewhat of inexpensive gear as well. So I know that there's a core audience for that to some extent as well. So I just like to mix it up. I'm trying to, I've got a couple of weeks of different content scheduled almost finally, but there is going to be, I'm always going to do a mix of stuff because I ask questions too with the subscribers. Like I post a question on the feed and I look at the feedback, and 90% of the people that watched the videos or replied, I had like 2,000 people reply, said they're into inexpensive pedals when I asked, do you want to hear any more or not? And it was really surprising actually, because I feel like the pedal gear demos are pretty much done for. Like people are over them on the most part. But yeah, so I don't know. I think because of that, in a way, I'll just do them still when I have time to do them, and unless they're crap, and then I'm not going to bother. But
Right.
if they're good and cheap, there's still an audience for that because people don't always like spending huge amounts of money on.
That's how we discovered you, myself, like Richie and me, because we're budget players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking for budget gear, and that's how we discovered you 5-6 years ago, because you had this catalog of cheap gear reviewed essentially, and it was great.
Oh, thanks. And I'm a big believer in just putting things up anyway. Like I like to keep my channel, because this is what I do now, right? Like I do get paid for doing production work here and there too, but mostly like over the last 4 years, this is pretty much what I've been doing. So for me, I'd rather just have something turn up, and if I think it's good enough that I want to shoot a video for, I'll do it anyway. Even if it doesn't get a lot of traffic, it'll still help expand the reach of the channel. And
sure,
I might not have the biggest subscriber base out there, but in terms of views, my channel does pretty well.
Yeah.
So I just look at it like that. The more you put your face on stuff, the more it does help. I think, at least I believe it does.
I think so. I think I've taken your philosophy and used that too.
You just got to film it and put it out. And sometimes, like, you never know. Like, I've had videos of stuff that I shot. Oh, sorry, I thought someone was knocking at the door. Like inexpensive stuff that I didn't expect to take off, like the Tone City stuff. I was the first in the world to do the Tone City stuff.
Oh yeah, cool.
And then Anderton's did it, and then all my videos took off after not long after that. So and that I guess helped as well. So sometimes things blow up after the fact, and then they do really well. So I just like to do what I can at the best of my ability with the time I have, and just put as much good stuff out there as I can, and keep it going too, so people know that there's not going to be 3 weeks of downtime between videos. I don't, I want to at least upload a few videos every week if I can. And I know they're not going to be all high traffic. I could strategize all of the time and just do videos that I know will get a lot of high hits, but it's not always in the best intent. It might grow the channel to some extent doing that, but I don't want to lose focus of what built the channel as well. So there's a really good balance. If you've only ever done talking videos, and as opposed to doing playing videos or gig videos and stuff, then that's fine. But if I sort of like to keep the content mixed up. Like I said, in the next week or two, I've got a week of content that's a little bit different, which I think will do pretty well. And then it'll go back to sort of, that week will it's planned to broaden the reach of the channel slightly. Like people that might not have seen the channel will probably find those videos, and then I'll go back to doing some of the more regular stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting sort of process. I'm always learning.
Yeah, that's good.
I could always do things better too. I'm well aware of that. Like there's things that I could spend more time on, but I don't like to spend 20 hours on a video. I think that's highly unnecessary.
I think the variety, you got to keep it interesting for yourself too, right?
Oh, totally.
That's how I am too. I don't like to, I just do, if I'm not going to have, I think I'm kind of like you. If I'm making a video and I'm not having fun doing it, I kind of don't really want to even look at that. So I'm trying to, in the moment, if it's fun and the idea seems cool in the moment, even after when I release it, it's kind of stupid or whatever, I had fun doing it. So, and like you said, there's some stuff you never expect to do well and it does well. And then other videos you spend tons of time on, you put it out and it's just a dud. Nobody likes it except for you.
Reminds me of the last video there. Your mic shoot out and you did it again at the end.
Oh, that stupid thing. Yeah, that's
stand-up comedy routine.
That's just me being so dumb.
No, it was funny though. That's what made it hilarious.
I think yeah, that video took me forever. I've had those mics for over a month. I just wasn't like that. I just wasn't inspired to work on it. I just finally put it together. So,
well, I think that's actually the one great thing with Shane doing the stuff for Sky Music is it gives him a change from what he normally does. So when Shane announced that, I was like, great, because it's something new, something to invigorate him. And then, like he was saying, he was getting sick of doing all the, budget pedal demos and stuff.
Oh, sorry to cut in. Yeah, exactly. We got the Mooner. Nope, Jamal. Hey.
I think he's on mute.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't mute him.
Oh, I muted myself. I was outside.
You get cigarettes sticking out of your ears? What's going on there?
Oh, there's my earphones.
I know.
AirPods. Oh,
that's what they look like, though.
I know they look goofy, but they work great.
That's those iPhone, the new ones.
Yeah, they're the little AirPods. Yeah.
What happens if you lose them? What do you do?
Well, one will still work, but if you lose one, you have to pay about like $70.
Oh my god!
For to replace it.
Yeah, wow.
Oh,
how's it going?
Oh, good. Just working. Big surprise.
Good to see you, Joe.
Likewise.
It's been a while. It's been too long.
Likewise. Yeah, just trying to save up money, trying to pay off that Strat so I can buy the flying video.
Oh, okay.
Without pissing off my wife.
There's a guitar player in the nutshell. Need to pay off the one guitar so I can get the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. And then have money to do her stuff. That's the key.
You follow the Southpaw Guitars Instagram, Jamal. How great are some of those guitars he's been posting lately?
Oh, those are nice. I went up there, I think, what was it? And I want to say it was in March. And they rearranged everything. Where everything used to have all the Fender stuff on the wall that you could kind of walk around, and behind the counter, they had all the Gibsons. They flipped it. They put all the Fenders behind the counter and had all the Gibsons against the wall. And that's where I tried out that V and the Explorer and a couple of SGs. I mean,
you didn't end up getting the V in the end?
Oh no! Well, you know what? They were asking 16.
Oh wow!
1,600 for it, 15 cash. Well, I saw it on AmericanMusicSupply.com. The left-handed version's cheaper than the right-handed version. The left-handed version is $13.99. They're asking $13.99 for it. So that's kind of where I'm going at purchasing that guitar.
Is that normal for a left-handed guitar to be cheaper? I thought they were the same.
Usually, no. Usually, like the PRS, the one that Shane had, have, Shane, that one's, I think, like $50 more than the right-handed version. But
okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. The right-handed version is like $729, $749 or something like that, and the left-handed version is like $829. Here in the States. But that's the one guitar that's actually less as a lefty. And
interesting.
So it's just, so that's what I'm hoping I can get in the next. I have an anniversary coming up next month. It'll be 20 years since I've been working out here at Continental/United. So I figure I deserve to get myself a anniversary gift.
Yeah. Sure. I thought you were about to say it was you and your wife's anniversary. You're gonna get her a guitar.
Yeah, I don't think she'd like that if I bought a guitar for our anniversary. So what's been going on with you guys?
Well, we were just talking earlier about the Fender Player Series. I don't know if you've seen any of those. The Mexican replacement line.
Yeah. I was like looking at it like, is that new? And then I said, oh, they just changed the name. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Different.
Pretty much what they did with the American Standard, right? And then went professional. Just a rebranding and new colors, new options. New.
Cheaper pods.
Cheaper price.
Hunter has a
higher price. Yeah, I got a question there. What's he saying there? Go ahead, Terry. Was it?
Hunter asks, question for you all. Do you think with all these new direct-to-consumer guitar companies, do you think the quality that customers expect from even entry-level price guitars has risen?
To some point, well, I think in general, like no matter how cheap a guitar is, if I'm buying it from an actual music store, not from Toys R Us, not from Walmart, I expect it to actually tune, play. You know, it might need to be, definitely need to be set up, but it's playable. You know, whereas, back in the day, a quote unquote student guitar, some of them, the tuners were so bad you could barely tune it up to pitch.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't slipping, you had to grab your dad's vice grips to put on the tuning pin to get the leverage.
Yeah.
Those Squire Stratocasters of the early 80s, oh my god. Bend the note, and there you see the tuner turning with the string bend. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the way that a lot of these cheaper guitars are made too, probably, at least with, say, the Squire stuff, for example, it's pretty consistent. Like, I haven't picked up a Squire, even these, like, entry-level ones that just don't, there's nothing really that wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like, they just play well. And I think their process kind of lends itself to that. But I think it's up to whoever's shipping them out to give them a once-over before they go. I think that's probably important. That must be part of that, expectation that, you don't want to get a guitar that hasn't even been looked at and just been shipped.
Is it almost?
But that said,
I actually too consistent these days.
I'll tell you what, I unboxed that Strat, and all but one of the strings was in tune. So, it's pretty crazy. Like, that was straight from wherever they're made, Indonesia or whatever. I think the high E string was out or something. It was pretty much in tune. Like,
which one is that? Which Strat was that?
This one.
The Affinity?
Affinity. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Still in tune. It's freezing cold. Yeah. So these are cool. Like, I just think it's up to whoever's doing the distribution or the shipping to give them a good once over. Make sure that the action's okay and all that kind of stuff. And I think with the way the world is now, the companies would be crazy not to put some sort of quality control in their pre-shipping situation, because people will just return it.
Right. Do you think the companies care about the model that they're sending out? Like, say they're going to send out a Squire, they're not going to care about that versus a high-end Fender or something, right? I don't know.
I think they still care. They might care a little less. It might have a 30-point inspection instead of a 75 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if you're spending like $3,000 for a guitar,
you would hope
the person that's buying that $3,000 guitar is going to be a little more, particular about certain things, as opposed to you spend $300. If you, like you said, if you can tune it and you can play it, then you're getting your money's worth. You can play it comfortably.
Exactly. You can put your setup on it, whereas if it's $3,000, I want my setup on it before I even take purchase of it, type thing. I want it. You want it just choice right out of the box.
Yeah.
Actually, I until about a week ago, I'd never touched a PRS, and I finally ran into one in a store. I can't remember the model. It was about $2,500 guitar, and it reminded me of a Sir. The build quality on it, it felt solid. Just something about it. I had the same feeling when I picked up a Sir guitar played last year. I don't know if you guys did that.
Sir guitars are great.
They just have this. I can't really explain it. It's a bolt-on. I think it was a bolt-on. Yeah, it was a bolt-on. Something about the way it's connected, or just the hardware, or something. It just feels. You can feel something different in it. Not even playing it, just holding it. You're just like, yeah, there's something different in this, for sure.
Yeah, they're pretty high quality instruments. I mean, when Rick finally tried, he bought one not long after I got mine, because I didn't stop playing mine, and he ended up getting a closer to the top of the line sort of thing, because he's a doctor.
Of course.
But yeah, he loves it, man. He was completely converted. I haven't seen him play a Telecaster since.
No way.
No, not one. And it's been months now, and he hasn't played a Tele. So I think he still will go back to the Telecaster at some point. But
Yeah,
he's loving it. They're easier guitars to play if they're set up right. You know, which mine was. I haven't done anything to mine except for change the strings. So yeah, it's just every time I get on that guitar, it actually feels easier to play. I don't know what it is. It does. It holds tune great. I did have to tighten the tuner slightly on the tuning pegs, just a little bit, but that was it. I haven't done anything else to it, and the whammy bar thing works. You can really use it, and it will stay in tune. And pickups are bright as well, which is great. You know, you don't have any problems with like muddy humbucker tones or anything like that.
What's the price on that? Around 1,000 or?
Yeah, look, in Australia they're a little bit more. I think they're around $1,200. I could be wrong. I got a bit of a deal price on mine, but
okay, cool.
Yeah,
those in Canada are around the 800 mark, I believe.
That one is. Oh, I'm pointing at my. I don't know what I'm pointing at. Pointing at Shane's.
Yeah, I love it. Like, it's funny how many messages I'm still getting. Like, do you still like it? Do you still like it? I'm like, dude, I'm using this all the time. Nearly every time I've played live in the last few months, I've taken that with me. And lately I've been taking my Tele as well. Mostly just because it's light and it just sounds so good. Like, I love the fact that it's comfortable to play, and it does. It feels easier. And I don't know why it feels easier to play, because the neck shape isn't inherently what I would normally go to, but it doesn't matter almost. I really like that.
Can you bring it up in the camera there? I want to see the back around where it's a bolt on, right?
Yeah. I think that's the reality, though. Is I think no matter if it's a cheap guitar or an expensive guitar, if it feels right and it plays right, you know, it doesn't matter. People will pay,
I'll click on,
pay the little price or the large price.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay.
So yeah, it's sort of like it's just like a set neck, I guess. And they do make a bolt-on neck one, which is the CE models, I think you call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this thing, man. You can see how much I've been playing it on the. Oh, you probably can't, but it's all the belt marks on the piece of plastic here. But
Terry, you shouldn't have told me it was around $800. That's bad for gas. Now
I reckon this is the best. I reckon this is easily the best guitar for its price.
I thought I was looking at like 12, 13, 1400 or something. Hope you're wrong.
I won't tell you what they go for on Kijiji then.
Okay, I won't even look. Hey, we got John.
How you doing, gang?
Howdy.
I saw Jamal jumped on at work, so then I said, "Oh, I've got no excuse. I'll come in for 5 minutes and say hi."
Nice. I think he's flying a plane.
What was that?
I think Jamal's flying a plane right now. He's on pause, so he'll probably be back.
Ah, yeah.
Or unloading one.
Do one of these.
Fair enough. I'll have to catch up on most of the conversation on the replay.
Cool. How's it going there?
It still goes. I'm going to be very busy within the next 3-4 weeks. I'm relocating from Sydney to Melbourne, so
nice. Okay.
It's full on. It's going to be full on from now on.
Don't forget your beanie and your jacket, man. It's cold down here.
Nah, man. I tell you what, I was there a few weeks ago.
Guys in your cold. Hey, Terry and Ben. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't even know.
Man, you should see the week bleeps here in Sydney. It hits down to 18 degrees Celsius, and they're all, "It's freezing out here."
What?
And I'm running around in a t-shirt. They're crazy.
Try gigging in -20 Celsius without the wind chill.
That's what
I don't know how. I have no idea how people live in those conditions. Seriously,
you load in and load out very fast.
Well, I'll tell you in the winter when it's super cold, you turn on a couple of tube amps and it's perfect in here. I have no problem at all. It's awesome. Keeps it nice and toasty.
Why is it every time I join one of these things, it turns into the Weather Channel? I thought we were talking guitars. I got 2 minutes, and you're giving me the weather.
All right, John. So I managed to play a couple of SX guitars, lefties.
I saw that, mate. I saw that. So, they got a few different types, I guess, but I'd be interested to see what you got coming up.
I think it was called a vintage or custom handmade. Well, they're probably not handmade, but they're. Man, really, really good. I got to say, I was really shocked. I don't like the headstock shape, but other than that, I reckon they're as nice a guitar as a classic vibe.
Yeah, well, the one I've got, I'm really happy with. So that's what I was saying to a lot. I have seen a couple of dogs in the cash converter shops, but the one I got really surprised me, and I haven't touched it. I want to put like a decent bridge in it, but the pickups sound fine, and the neck feels great.
Yeah, cool.
I've got, sorry to cut in there. This is a friend of mine lent me this one. It's a 79 hardtail Strat. This thing weighs as much as a Les Paul from the 70s. I don't know what kind of wood it is. These things are
probably swamp ash.
It's crazy heavy. So I'm gonna have that.
All
I'm
those
planning,
CB0 ones.
So I've got this, and I've got a 77 custom Les Paul that's in its case hiding. I'm planning on doing a 70s riff shootout thing or something, all 70s.
Cool.
Better learn how to play disco on guitar then.
Disco? Oh, I've got my songs picked up.
Or funk.
Well, that one looks like the Edge's guitar from the early days.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a monster.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah. I don't have a guitar here, otherwise I'd play some Bee Gees for you.
I played a lefty 70s Strat at Jerry's last year, and it was an absolute brick. It was so heavy.
Probably the same,
like unbearably heavy. Did that one? I don't know if that one's the same year or whatever, but does the truss rod actually stick out from the?
Yeah.
It's I don't know why they did that.
It looks like a bullet. Looks like a bullet sticking out, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they started out early 70s.
What else is special on this one? It's got the 3.
Cool.
3-bolt with micro tilt. I believe they did the bullet truss rod because it was an easier way instead of drilling through the wood. So because it was external, it wasn't damaging the headstock.
Also got this. Also got this one. I'll show this one quick. This is a 72, not an actual 72. It's a reissue. It's a Mexican, but it's got the same thing in it.
Yeah.
It's the wide range humbuckers. This is a walnut. A friend of mine lent me this. Same idea though, right?
I was just gonna say I didn't see you get that one before.
No, it's just hanging up.
I wonder if he's not gassing. He's got all this great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when you got when people start finding out that you do this kind of stuff, they want to give you all their gear for some reason.
Yeah.
I have to keep turning people away. I just don't have enough time to do it all.
Man, wait till you. Yeah, I know what that's like. Nearly every week, someone's like, "Hey, I built this amp, or I built this. Do you want to test it out?" I'm like, "Dude,
I can't.
I don't have time to come around and check it out for 3 hours and while you tell me about it."
You got a Black Star. I don't know if you can see it back there. Is it right there? HT5. I'm gonna do too.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's pretty good. It's a 5-watt 10-inch combo. It's pretty loud. Surprising. It's kind of like the AC10 volume level.
There you go, Lando. That should turn you off from wanting a Paul Reed Smith now. Here's a listing from Kijiji.
Oh, what the hell is that?
Only $36.50, eh?
Yeah, only $36.50.
Wow.
Would it retail for $35?
Probably.
That's most of those.
$37.
That's used, right?
Yeah, that's used.
Oh man,
I see those guitars drop in value on the secondhand market here like nobody's business. People try to sell them for like say 3,000, and then a week later they're like down to 2,250. And I get direct messages about PRS guitars. They're like, "Oh, I got a lefty. Do you want to buy it?" I'm just thinking, no, I already sort of have one. They're like, "Oh, I'll sell it for $3,000," and then a month later I'll get another message. "Oh, it's $2,000 now. Do you want it?" I'm like, "No."
So I guess that's good if you want one, right?
Yeah, you buy it used, you get it heaps cheaper. And just there's so many of them as well. Why are we staring at John's head here? What's going on?
I don't know. I'm staring at yours at the moment.
Okay, I don't know
I'm getting it changing through.
You can hang out glitching.
Okay, mine's just stuck on your head. That's all right. Yeah. So
I come here for this.
Those, you can generally find them used really cheap. I mean, not always. There's certain ones you won't be able to, but just the generic sort of made in the USA sort of custom 22s or 4s.
What is your model again, Shane? Custom.
Custom 24.
Custom 24. I shouldn't be looking this up right now. What am I doing?
We have a question in the chat from Jay Steen. I'm going to Gearfest this weekend. Should I buy a PRS Custom 22 SE or an S2 Custom 22? I honestly don't know the difference, but if you see me walking around, say hi, because I'm in town.
Play them both and see if you can justify the difference in the price.
Yeah, because that's about what, $200-300.
Yeah, well, yeah. Look, because we're all globally in different places, it's different. But yeah, just try them out and see how you go. Because I think the S2s are going to cost more. At least they do here by quite a bit more, by several $100s more. But hang on, PRS Custom 22 SE or an S2 Custom? Yeah, so. At least in Australia, there's quite a huge difference in price. One's sort of made mostly in the US, I'm pretty sure, and the other one isn't.
Yeah, the S2 Custom's made actually in US, and the SE is, of course, made in One World.
Okay. Yeah. What do you guys think
what
about
their decide is there's an open box pavilion there too. So
really?
Check the open boxes. Yeah, I think it's like 20% off open box stuff or something like that.
That'd be probably pretty cool for guitar. I bought something. I bought an open box thing from Sweetwater, but I had to return it. It was the Vox MV50 AC, the little mini head last year. I got it dud, even though it was a open box or refurb or something like that, but it didn't work. I had a problem with it.
I just thought I'd mention
Sorry, go ahead, Shane.
I was just going to say, just to finish off Jay Steen's question, I couldn't justify the difference between an SE Custom 24 and made in the USA one. Tone-wise or feel-wise, you're basically buying it because the American ones look nicer on the most part. They got sort of a classier neck wood sometimes, or they got the flame maple thing going on, or visually it might just be that little bit different. But in terms of tone, there's not a lot in it. I just kind of find that if you like brighter sounding humbuckers, the SEs are probably the way to go. If you like a fatter, sort of thicker sound, maybe go for the other one. But yeah, it all varies. Rick and I tried a whole lot of guitars when he purchased his, and they did all sound a little bit different as well. So just pick them up and plug them in and make sure you like what you hear.
Okay, I see your guitar, Shane. Yeah, it's 1019.
No, that's good.
Well, while we got a break in the conversation, guys, I'm going to get going.
Okay.
Like I said, I only came in to quickly say hi.
Great seeing you, John.
Nice chatting with all you Canadians. The Aussie was a bit rude.
No Kiwis this time.
No Kiwis this time.
Well, we got a Kiwi in the chat, so.
That's good. No. All right, guys, I really got to run. Take it easy. I'll hopefully catch you on the next one.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. Shane, what was the first pedal demo you did? Was it a Behringer pedal?
Yeah, TO800.
My buddy also lent me this. I don't know if it's for a joke or if it's
I don't know that one actually. XD300.
I think it's kind of like a Metal Zone or something.
Oh, nice.
So he said it's pretty noisy. He said turn it on just maybe for a joke. So we'll see. It's all plastic. This is the first one I've ever held.
That's the one issue I have with the Behringer pedal. I use their noise gate because it's an always on if I'm using it on a particular night. So, but a pedal that I'm going to be stepping on all the time, I just don't like the plastic housing.
No. It basically they ripped off Boss, right? Like if you look at a Boss and then
it's a very similar design.
Yeah. Except this is made out of like titanium or something. I don't know what they make these out of.
Yeah, the Behringer pedals are pretty reliable. Build wise, like even though they are plastic, I had that TO800 on my board for a few years with a Voodoo Lab Sparkle drive, and yeah, the only thing that goes on them after a while is if you run them on AC, if you plug them in, basically use a power supply with them, eventually the internal battery option will stop working. That seems to be a pretty global issue with at least some of them. But with that aside, that plastic's pretty durable, man. And I don't know.
That reminds me of something. I don't know if I mentioned it in one of my videos. The foot pedal I got with the PV, the Classic 20, it's one of those plastic ones compared to the one I got with the Marshall. I'll show you what. I'll pull it out here.
Yeah, PV's done that for a while.
Hey, we got Rock and Dave Byron in the chat. Hey, Dave, yeah? Safe trip. Thank you. I'm guessing if he's tuning in at 11 at night, he's probably was gigging earlier tonight.
All right, I'm going to try to show this off. So this is the PV pedal. I don't know if you can tell on camera what it actually is made out of, but I made a joke that it's kind of like a margarine container. Like you can just peel up, right? But apparently these are fine. Like they can take it.
Make sure to burp it to keep it fresh.
There you go, right? And versus the Marshall pedal, which is like steel or metal or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I was when I saw this. This is what I was expecting. So I was
Right.
kind of shocked that this is what they give you, but I guess it's okay.
I can honestly say, Lando, even back when I had a PV Special 112,
That's what they had.
it was plastic.
Yeah, maybe that's their thing, right?
Well, there's
Yep,
nothing wrong for hardened plastic.
No.
They've been using those for years. All of the old PV Bandits and stuff I've picked up over the years all had that exact same
thing.
except they didn't have their it wasn't quite as didn't have as much sort of graphics on there. The older ones would just like said 1 and 2 and had a PV logo. Yeah, I got one. I think it's probably in the back of my amp, but yeah,
I think we
they
found
last
PRS
forever.
Lando
Actually,
too, and it's local.
you know what's good about them? The fact that they're plastic, you can kind of roll them up and throw them in the back of the amp, and they're not going to damage anything.
Yeah, they're
You know, if you've got a big piece of metal slamming around in the back, I think that's maybe their thought process. Either that or it was just cheaper to make. But
yeah,
Could be a
be.
combination of both.
yeah, I like the fact you can chuck them in the back of the amplifier and not sort of damage it. Yeah.
So I'm just going to take a look at. I don't know if anybody's been watching the chat. I've kind of been
Oh,
ignoring.
I'm
it.
watching it, and we
Okay.
found you a PRS, Lando.
Oh
It's
no,
local too.
Ban that guy. Delete it. Get rid of it.
It's a Bernie Marsden model, no less.
A what? Not
Bernie
familiar.
Marsden.
An
So it's
LP
based
style.
off, yeah, kind of a Les Paul style, single cut, dual humbucker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's they're nice. They're nice. Well, then again, I'm a huge Bernie Marsden fan, so.
Okay. R2 is saying the PV 6505 foot switch is all metal. So I guess they're not all.
Well, that's a metal amp, so it should have a metal switch. I couldn't resist.
Oh, jeez. That almost.
I got this little amp sent to me, this 5-watt head, and I've just opened the bag, and I think that all of the valves are broken.
Oh, I can hear it.
Oh, no.
Hey, it's an
Nice.
unboxing.
Play it.
An
Oh.
unjingling?
Wow.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I got 3 of them are 2 at least are broken.
Oh, that's brutal.
Oh,
Oh,
that sucks.
Far out. So yeah, I'll be sending a photo back to the guys.
What was it packed?
hey,
you
you
got
told
your
me some
proof?
assembly was required.
Just point them to this video at the point.
There goes all the glass. Anyway, I'm gonna have to vacuum now.
Oh no.
Damn.
Ouch.
Well, there we go. Nice, good quality stuff.
And Dave Byron says, yes, in fact, he did just get back from a gig. Awesome. Hope it went well, buddy. And man, that guy gigs like 4 or 5 days a week, it seems.
I guess you could say that amp is ear-shattering.
It's finger bleeding.
You'll
well,
play
man.
it until your fingers bleed.
Ouch.
I don't even want to. That's got to be good.
Sounds like it's gone inside, too.
Yep, absolutely.
That's not good, no.
Oh, we have a foot switch question. Hi all, what's the difference between a latching and not latching foot switch? One engages as soon as you put down the switch. The other will not engage the effect until you release the switch. I don't know which one is which, though. I think the latching engages as soon as you push down the switch. I think.
Wouldn't the latching be the one that when you push it in, it goes click?
No, because some click and it still doesn't. Some still take effect when it's down. Some you have to release it before it completes the circuit, I guess. I don't know. But then again, you could be right too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
usually.
there you go.
I usually
I have a
click it.
question, and I made it even murkier.
I'm just thinking about it now. I usually click and I take my foot off. I don't usually hold it down.
I only started noticing that with pedals when I started doing gear reviews, because like quite often Rich will be playing and we'll have the pedal on display, badly usually, but I'll hit it and I'll notice sometimes because I'll hear the change while my thumb's still on the button, and other times I have to release it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of different types of pedal foot switches from. Yeah, I built a few pedals, and after years of testing lots of different ones, I think there's like 3 main types most pedal companies use. But yeah, I've never really thought that much about it. I've never really heard that term, latching.
Yeah, because I think there's latched, unlatched, and then you have your momentary where you have to hold down the button for it to engage.
Momentary, I know, just because I did a kill switch on that black telly there. I put a kill switch, and that's what they call that, a momentary switch. You hold it down, it cuts it out, pops. It looks like an arcade button, like a video game arcade button, just a mini one.
Yes, R2R3 says the new TC electronic pedals have that feature. Yeah, they all have the quote-unquote mash, which is you have your on-off by pressing it, but then you have the mash by holding it to engage a separate effect, which I think is just awesome.
Let me get that in the camera there. See that there? That's a momentary kill switch. Down, cuts the signal, and up, it's on.
It's got to be one of the few tellies that has a kill switch in it.
That's my heavily modded Mexican telly. I put in lace sensor blue in the neck and dually red in the bridge. Did that a few years ago. It's basically copying the guitars from Radiohead. That's his. It's a Telly Plus basically with a couple extra mods on it. But
yeah.
They did.
Pete Hickson says latching you have to press again to turn off. Non-latching stays on while you have your foot on it and off when you release.
Well, there we are. So a non-latching is a momentary switch, essentially.
Cool. What time we got here? 11:15. Oh, doing pretty good. If anybody else, hey Sonia, just noticed she's there. If I haven't said hi to anybody, sorry, I've just been distracted by all this stuff.
Yeah, I know the switches on the Sand Para 2 here, as you heard, they're all hard click.
Yeah. That's something I usually look for in a pedal. How loud does that click?
Yeah, absolutely. I find the quietest ones that I've noticed recently are the TC Electronic. They're pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the
big.
Is
the Corona Mini?
It's a Corona, not the beer.
Yeah, Corona Light.
So this is a Joyo, right? You can hear the difference. I'll go close up here. Versus.
So the one that clicks like that's actually a true bypass pedal.
Is that what it is?
Most of the time, not always, but a lot of the soft touch ones. There are different sort of. There's a couple of different types of soft button switching, but
that one's,
believe it or not, the ones that last longer are actually the soft touch ones.
Okay, this says a true bypass on it too. A lot quieter though, eh? Like,
yeah, I mean it's not always the case, but there's some that are controlled by like basically like a chip electronically as well. That they're supposed to last forever as well. Anyway, yeah,
this one too here. That one's pretty loud. Remember that one, Shane?
Cool. Yeah, I do. Yeah, nice.
Cool. That's the one that got. This one got lost in space for about a year and then showed up in my house.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know what happened there. That customs. It's customs in Canada. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. This is a pedal I got from Shane, but it got lost. Like it was gone, and then it just magically showed up.
I mean, you saw the date on the parcel it left when it left, and it just seemed to take forever.
Boston Space. See, Dave Byron asks, "Hey Shane, how are you liking the Marshall DSL, and does it blues?"
Oh man, I love it. It's my favorite amp at the moment. I use it all the time. I gig with it whenever I can. It is really that good. It's basically replaced the need for me to bring a big pedal board with me. I just use the foot switch, and I generally put a delay pedal in the effects loop. And that's about it. It is really a great amp. And there's another one that's on my radar right now too, which is the new Hot Rod Deluxe version 4. I had a chance to finally play one. It is so good. It does pretty much what the they've finally got the drive channels right on it as well, which is something that they didn't quite ever get right. So much like the Marshall, you get a good clean channel, and then the Marshall's probably more versatile. You do get the 4-channel thing set up with it, but yeah, I love it. I use it all the time, and it's loud enough. 20-watt mode's not loud enough. Playing live most of the time, but on 40 watts, man, it just really plays itself. Works great with all of my guitars. Couldn't be happier. And you know what? I spoke to the guys at Sky, where I actually purchased that from. None of them have been returned, which is a good sign. So
nice.
Reliability-wise, not a single one's been returned, which is awesome.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a couple of problems with prior DSL models. I think maybe the generation before these or the one before that or something had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had any issues with mine. Nothing rattles on the amp or nothing's loose. There's no bad valves in the back. It all kind of works. And I like it. I actually took my PV Bandit out and played that recently. As much as I like that amp, the Marshall just eats it alive once you turn it up. It's just got that extra growl. I mean, the Bandit's fine for gigging too, but just in terms of sheer oomph, I love it. I think it's a great amp. So if you play blues or rock and roll, they're a hard amp to beat.
Yeah. I've got the 20, and I love the. I don't need to put a pedal in front of it. I can just get some drive that is awesome for. I think.
Yeah, you did that the right way, getting the head like that too. You can kind of easier to match a better speaker than the one that's in the combo.
I've got the Texas Heat speaker in that cabinet, and that's the head there. Because I've always found, like, I had the AC15 for years, but I was always putting pedals in front of it to get a drive. Like, it does do a good drive, but to get the extra, just something.
Yeah, Vox needs a pedal, I reckon, most of the time.
Yeah, I think so. So anyways, in my mind right now, though, the way I have this Vox AC4, I like that chimey tone. I'm not trying to get the heavy drive with that. I like having the different sound for whatever you're gassing for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a stock tube screamer or anything like a Maxon 808 landed?
Mm-hmm.
Try that with your Vox. That'll be a really great match.
Yeah, I've got the Mini.
It kind of pushes the frequencies back into the amp that Vox don't normally have. And it's a really great combination.
That's what I used with the AC15 pretty much all the time.
Nice.
Cool. Take a look at the It's Below is asking about how many people use that's Kemper. Got a W in there. I think Shane's the only one that's touched a Kemper, right?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have one in my possession now, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they let me keep one, and I thought, wow, okay. So I didn't get it from Kemper. I actually got it from Sky Music. They were going to fly me to NAMM, which didn't really interest me, and they sort of said, because I don't charge them for the videos I do on my channel or anything like that. Obviously, we've got a good arrangement. They said, "Oh, how can we help you?" I said, "I'd love to have a Kemper. I think it would be just a great tool for productivity and all that kind of stuff." And yeah, they're great. Like, it is a really great tool. I've nearly finished a tribute album to JJ Cale that I've been working on for a while. It's finally nearly finished. So a lot of the tone sort of switched mid album to using the Kemper because it's just really, really good. So yeah, I love it. If you're a home studio guy, I could see, or if you do YouTube videos or whatever, it's a good investment. If you're thinking about taking it out and playing it live, if you're not playing on a huge stage, it's probably not ideal. Because you need to get the foot switch for it, and then there's a whole lot of fiddling around you'll need to do. And I don't know. I just think traditional amps are probably better in certain situations. If you're playing live, the Line 6 Helix would probably be a better option than the Kemper because it is a foot. It is an effects pedal rig as well as an amp sim rig all in one. You don't need to go buy something else for it. So just in terms of a straight up home recording tool, the Kemper's as good as it gets, man. I love it.
What's the other model though? There's that one, and there's a rack mount or something. Or
yeah, so I actually have the rack unit. That's kind of what I got now. So I didn't like the lunchbox head. So I ended up getting. How am I going to do this?
What's the difference?
I thought. Nothing other than this visually looks a whole lot nicer.
Oh, really? Okay. You can just rack mount it.
So I've got basically my stuff sitting on the desk.
Yeah.
Without having like a big thing on top of everything.
Yeah, cool. You get better for your space there. That's cool.
And that was state of the art back in 1996. I think this was Boss BR532.
Does it have a CD burner on it?
No, it was before that.
It's got a tape burner.
yeah. It's old school. I got that free with the PV Studio Pro when I bought that for $150. I was like, oh god, what am I going to do with this thing?
Oh, that's right. You got that from that eBay deal, right?
Yeah, and that mic as well. So it works. It still works fine. It's pretty cool, but it's just funny. It comes with 32 megabytes of memory to so you can record a song, and it's hilarious.
Oh man. All right, Phil is saying he's got to go. He's falling asleep right now. We'll catch the replay. Cool. Thanks for
cheers, Phil.
Thanks for watching.
It feels good. I see him around.
Yeah, I've seen Phil a number of times. Sonia still uses audio cassettes. You know what? I have a box of audio cassettes that, and my uncle gave me an old dual tape. What do you call those things? Yeah, you had to record. No, not a boombox. It's like a regular
thingamajigger.
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
A rack unit.
Yeah,
like a rack unit. Sort of
exactly. Like you have your record player and you had your.
I've got one of them.
Stereo system.
The stereo
track.
Anyways, I don't know why I'm keeping them, but.
Yeah, I actually got some unused Bassif tapes laying around. I was tempted to put them on eBay, and then I looked on eBay and I said, no, that isn't going to bring me any profit.
No. Not yet. You got to wait 20 years when they become the hip thing, like vinyl, right?
Yeah.
People are going to be like, oh, that hissy sound. You need that hiss sound in your
music.
You
need the warble.
yeah. You know what? That's funny. That's funny because I used to have I had a boombox or a stereo, whatever you call them, years ago, and I'm pretty sure it played music at a higher speed. Because years later, I went and listened to a bunch of songs that I used to have on tape, and I'm like, that's not how it sounds. And I think I was just listening to them wrong for years.
Probably, yeah. The drive elastic might have.
It was just a little bit
runs
faster.
The gears. If it cures, it'll shrink a bit, and that'll speed it up.
Messed me up.
It seems if they stretch it, slow down your music.
Yeah.
Or puts it in Teddy Ruxpin mode.
Yeah.
Coming off the rails of the crazy train.
Was it Frank Alexander Jr.? Quick question: humbucker pickup covers on both pickups, or off, or either bridge or neck? My understanding is if you remove the covers, you get a bit of a brighter sound. Is my understanding? But
yeah.
Yeah, my theory is whatever looks better on the guitar, just compensate with a bit of extra.
And I've never had luck ever removing a cover off a pickup in my life. I don't know what solder they use, but my soldering iron would never melt that solder.
I've never.
All you have to do is just dripping wax everywhere.
I thought it was cosmetics. I never thought it was actually did anything.
It does do like what Shane said. It opens up the tone. An older player who actually did covered on the rhythm and open on the bridge was Page.
Yep.
Jimmy Page had that on a lot of his Les Pauls.
Yep.
Open bridge and covered neck.
High speed dubbing, Dave Myron saying. Yeah.
Yep.
That was on my tape machine. Jesse Zangs joined us. Hey man, how's it going?
Jesse.
What were we talking about? Sorry, Terry, I cut you off.
I was just saying about how open cover versus covered. Somebody else did that too with a Paul Reed Smith SE that had open pickups, and he wanted to see if there was a tonal difference between them being stock with an open cover or open with no cover, and then he found covers that matched up and fit, and he put the covers on, and you know, the biggest thing of all was some of the high treble comes off of the pickup.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sonia's saying cassette deck rack mounted. That's what I was trying to say. Cassette deck.
Yeah.
It's one of those units.
Yeah,
Exactly
when they
right
all
now.
stacked on top of each other, the component stereo systems. Yeah, I think mine was about 2.5, 3 feet high. Once you put the turntable on top.
That's cool. Anybody has any questions? Anybody try the new? We've all talked
Pete
about
Hickson's
it.
heading out, so
Okay.
have a good night, Pete.
I missed that. Has anybody in the chat tried the new Fender Player Series at all? Any of the new ones? There's a lot of new models, or not new models. I mean, just different. They've really gone
combinations of things.
Yeah, it looks like they've gone for kind of like a lot of the colors are sort of like a blander color. I wouldn't say they're nice and shiny. Nothing
Right.
like.
Quite honestly, it kind of reminds me a bit of the modern Player Series that I had built out of China. That they did 2 series of.
Yep. Which they were great on paper, in my personal opinion. Couldn't gig with them though.
The modern player. I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. One sec here.
Modern Player 2.0, the one Jazzmaster. Oh, I jonesed for that one. It was the black one that had the pearloid pickguard, and it had the yellow maple neck with the black block inlays on it.
So you see the colors here. Nothing too. Even the red there. What do they call that color?
It's almost like a Fiesta red.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing too. Nothing too flashy. They've kind of gone and pull that out there. All right.
Well, and there's your HSH Strat, just like the modern player, except probably not a mahogany body. That was the cool thing about that modern player Strat was it was that trans red finish, which was beautiful, crimson red, with the HSH configuration. Buddy of mine picked one up, and those were only out for a year or two because Fender realized they were basically selling them at cost. They did so much stuff to them, and they were literally selling them at cost, and that's why they discontinued because they weren't making any money. And I played that one. My buddy owned it. I played it a number of times, always sitting down playing it, mind you. And I lusted over that guitar. And then I bought it off him. I played it for one band practice and traded it for a Marshall head. And then I traded to Richie for a Marshall head. He used it for one gig, and it fell apart during the gig. The neck pickup fell down inside the pickguard cavity. The middle pickup cut out at one point. We were doing 4 sets, I remember. And it was really hot, and that guitar just fell apart. And I had the modern player Telly. I put 10 hours playing time on it. I had several frets lifting it to the fretboard, and the other ones were totally dented. Like, you'd swear I've been playing this thing for years. I brought it into the music store because it was the first time I bought a new guitar. And Sean at Ardens just looked at it and goes, "What did you do to this thing?" I'm like, "I played it." And I was like, "You need to send this off." And then, long story short, it ended up being replaced because the repair guy dropped my guitar during the repair.
That was a modern player?
A modern player, with the Telly neck pickup, Strat middle pickup, and then a humbucker
5-way Nashville setup.
Okay.
Yeah. And a mini toggle for the coil tap as well. Like, for playing in a cover band, I just thought, man, that's a jack of all trades. I fell in love with it. Played great. But it just started falling apart.
Huh. I got a question for Shane's just on pause right now. Come back to that after. Somebody's asking about his DSL 40 CR. What else we got here?
Sonic Red.
Yeah, that's
Fender's.
Sonic. Yeah, Matt. Okay,
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, Matt Jones brings up that one, that Silverburst Strat from that Modern Player series. Oh my god.
Good.
That was
nice stuff in that series.
Yeah. That was it. Like that, the other version of that Modern Player Jazzmaster was all crimson red, and that was I didn't like it as much as the black with the pearloid and the block inlays, but the overall look of that guitar was just sharp.
Right.
I got a question here for me. Did you? Oh, did I think about doing the choke mod on my AC15? I don't have the AC15 anymore. Is that the? don't know the choke mod. I know there's a bright cap mod. I've heard of that. Is that the same thing? Bernardo's asking.
I'm almost wondering, is it almost like an attenuator type situation?
I don't know what choke mod is. That's one thing.
Choke was a D power thing.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. I know the AC15H, which is the head, it has an attenuator. You can bring it down to 15 and then I think 1 watt and then 1/10 of a watt or something. I always find the numbers weird that they pick. I don't know why they can't do 15, 10, 5. I don't know how that stuff works, right? So I don't know why they can't do something more normal.
Where's the guitarologist when you need them?
Yeah, like that.
J-Steen says
that PV.
I never.
Sorry, the Classic 20 that does 20, 10, and 5, I think, or is it 25 and 1? I can't remember. But I find that more useful to bring it down.
25 and 1, I believe, on the Classic.
J-Steen said he never realized that Fender Modern Player was made in China. Didn't know any Fender was made in China. That was actually the first line that had the Fender badging from China.
They still have one. The only one I remember from that whole series was the Player Tele Plus, which is kind of like what I did to my Mexican Tele. You can still get that one. It's got a humbucker in the bridge. It's got a, you know what, I'll bring it up. I got it loaded here. Yeah, they're made in China.
Yeah, the Modern Player series was actually a CIC, and they were produced by Quartz Guitar Factory in China.
Correct. Is that showing up?
That is the story on them.
I'm not sure if I had it on the right screen there.
You have it there.
649. Oh, there we go. To a time warp. I'm good at doing that. I don't know how I do that. Vortex.
Did have it up.
And those guitars, when the dollar was on par, which was about 5-6 years ago, Canadian dollar, that guitar was like $399 here. And now they're like, everything just skyrocketed.
I think by the time I bought the Modern Player Tele, it was $459.
So it was just starting to go up.
Sticker. Yeah.
But now,
and that was the sad part, is when they went to replace it, because it had been discontinued, they couldn't locate another one in the burst. So they offered me the trans black finish, which I thought was hideous. So I said, no, there's no way. But Fender stepped up, and they ended up replacing it with I had my choice of Mexican Tele, which was a huge upgrade. So then I grabbed my double humbucker one, which was another additional. I said, are you sure anyone? And they said, yep. Fender said any Mexican Tele. So I grabbed the double humbucker Tele, which ended up retailing for damn near twice what the Modern Player was.
Okay, sorry.
I was just going to say, did Long and McQuaid actually have that available to order?
No, but no, because
I meant when Lando was looking at it, because they love doing stuff like that, saying that, we'll order it in for you, and it's like, meanwhile,
it's out of like, That reminds me actually of something. I'll go back to in the chat there. Bernardo was mentioning about the AC15. I'll go back to that in a second. So the Player series is all Mexican, right? They're all Mexican guitars. I ordered a Mexican Tele body back in February from LA Music. It's been on back order since it was supposed to be March, and then there was April. Now it was supposed to be June 17th. I've been told June 24th. So I'm wondering if that's on back order because of this series that just came out. And they can't.
That would be a possibility.
It did make sense. I'm like, what's going on? It's an Olympic white Tele body, just normal. They sell them now, and that's got to be
the Olympic white. It's the new Player Tele is available in Olympic white. The one I played was
that one. That guitar you had is pretty much exactly what I'm making, except my neck is a 50s neck with the vintage frets. Otherwise, it looked like
same as because of the backlog for parts, like you said. I ordered just a 6 saddle, I ordered 2 Tele bridges, one for me, one for Rich. One came in 3 weeks. The other one took 8 or 9 weeks to get in.
Yeah, so maybe
it's just because, they needed all the parts. Same as the 4-way selector switch for the Nashville wiring. I think it's not out yet, folks, so I'm just speculating, but I think you are going to see a Tele with the Nashville wiring in the Player series. Because it has been really hard for me to get a hand on those switches. I ordered one. It took me 6 weeks. I ordered another one. I think that was 5 weeks ago, and it just came in today.
You could have bought a kit from Emerson probably with a 4-way Nashville.
Yeah. Well, I like to buy Fender parts when I can. So
Emerson's really good. I can vouch for them. They're awesome.
What's that?
I use Emerson Pro Pots in all my stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Emerson. Oh, not in all, but in most of the stuff I replace, Emerson make really good quality pots.
I'm just gonna go back to what Bernardo was asking me. Shane, you were gone, but the guy was asking me.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Oh no, it's cool. Have you ever heard of a choke mod on an AC15? He's explaining what it is there. It's
let me have a look. Sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know. Yeah.
I mentioned I heard of a bright cap mod. You're taking off like the brightness.
And then he was asking about the
I tell you what, these hand wired AC15s or whatever, they're a little overrated. Don't get too sucked into that. There was one at a local music shop here. It's one of 50 amps made, hand wired AC15, single 12, different shaped cabinet, made like it was back in the 60s. Had no EQ, they had a master volume and a presence control or something, right? It had very limited functions, $7,000. And we both, Rick and I both felt like that'll be sitting there until the end of time. If you don't like the AC15 tone, find out what it is you don't like about it. But, making the amp more saggy will give you a whole lot less headroom too. So unless that's what you're after, I mean, there might be other ways you can go about getting that sort of sound, but I don't know, man. I'm a sort of believer of 15-watt amp. If you can get a louder, cleaner sound, it gives you more flexibility to use it in different situations, unless you're just using it at home.
Mm-hmm.
You want that extra sag and sort of chewy sort of sound. I don't know, man. It's not. I don't really feel like modding an amp like that would be worth your time unless you're really dissatisfied with it. I love mine.
I never I never felt I had the need to do that. I liked it the way it was. So
me either. That was the only thing I would change in it. One mod he could make to the amp is, like I've said this a million times, if you put something like a low headroom speaker in there, it'll give you that sort of sound. You could put like an Alnico Blue in there, maybe if you've got a Celestion Greenback, or you could put any number of lower headroom speakers in there with lower watts, and it will give you a saggier sound because the speaker will start distorting earlier. So there's that way you could go about it as well. But I don't know, man. If the mod's reversible, give it a go if you know what you're doing. But if it isn't, it might not be worth it. You might just get a different sound you like less. So
it looks like Islander got it. Yeah. Read it there, Terry. Your eyes are better than mine.
The choke is a small transformer. Okay, the choke is a small transformer that goes in place of a resistor. It will smoothen out the tone a little.
So it's like a presence control or something. I don't know. I reckon you can get most of what you need tone-wise from an EQ control on an amp. The bass, middle, treble, or if it doesn't have mids, then treble and bass. But I don't know. I mean,
it depends what you're playing. Even your guitar can totally, like I put that lace sensor dually red through that AC4, and compared to the Strat, they're night and day. Like it's totally different. Same amp, same settings. I'm actually going to do some videos with that amp, and I got a couple different. So that amp came with, Shane, this. It came with, it's called a VX12, but it's a 7080. Or no, sorry. Yeah, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
They relabeled the stickers on it. I'll grab it right now. I got it right here.
Yeah, these are the 7080 speakers.
They tricked me. They
lied. Don't worry. I've fallen for that before. I bought a DeVille which had rebranded 7080 speakers in there, and I sold it a week later.
They're like, it's a custom Celestion VX12. I'm like,
oh, there it is. That's the shape.
It's exactly the same, right? Like,
yep.
I'm gonna keep it away.
Looks like something from Radio Shack back in the 90s.
7080s are terrible. That's the first. Anyone who has an amp with a 7080 speaker, put something else in, and you'll go, "Oh, this amp rocks."
It can't do the highs at all. It gets very, I don't know.
So Bernardo is just asking a question about the effects loop on the Marshall. He says, I asked on the... Basically, if the effects loop is on and you turn the amp off, when you turn the amp on again, does the effects loop show up as on? But if not, do you need to re-click it? I don't know if it does or not, but the thing is, anytime I turn my amp on, I generally will make sure my effects loop's on or off. Like just looking at the switch, just to click it again is no big deal. So I don't know, and I wouldn't let that be an issue because you're turning the amp physically off and then back on. Who cares? That would be my way of looking at it. I don't know. I've never really had to turn the amp off in a room, turn it back on, and then I've never checked. Or if I did, I would assume that it would turn itself off because you are switching it with a physical switch on a pedal as opposed to actually on the amplifier. But the amplifier itself also has a switch. I think it's a push. It's an in-out switch. So odds are you could probably lock it to being on. But like I said, that sort of thing isn't anything that I would never have even thought about that with that amp. I just, as you turn it on, see if it's on or off. That would be and it's lit with an LED. So that's how I would.
Yeah, that's what you say. I guess the older gen, you would turn it on, it would be lit like it's on, but it's not. So you'd have to turn it off and back on again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so there was a flaw with it. Gotcha. All right, that's not how I read the question. Sorry. Okay, no, I don't have that problem with this at all. I basically
the effects
DSL.
Right?
Yeah,
it's the issue with the switch on the amp. Everything works fine with the foot switch. Well, there we go. Just use a foot switch.
So I've got the 20, and I've got the foot switch, which has your drive. Can go between the channels, and then it's got the effects loop is the other button. I don't know. I didn't read the question, but I had that issue where the effects loop was engaged. I turned on the amp. The light wasn't on the pedal, but the effects loop was on.
Okay. I've never noticed it with mine.
Is that what he was asking? Sorry,
I think so.
Yeah, for him, the switch the light was on, but the effects loop wasn't engaged.
It was off, but the effects loop was on.
So you had the opposite happen to you.
Yeah, I have a DD7 in there, so I was getting the delay. This is just before we started the live stream. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" clicked it, and it was fine after that. But yeah, I guess having the amp, I don't know.
There's been a lot of amps that have been like that have had quirky little things, like the original Eddie Van Halen or EVH amps that Fender built, like those first ones. Apparently, the guy who actually designed the amp has his own separate Facebook contact thing for all the issues that these amps come up with, and it's all odd issues. Like another one was like one, I remember one guy, he'd turn it off and he would have it in the clean channel. When he turn it on, it would be kicked back into like the high gain and it would just start squealing away.
Oh wow,
that'd be terrible.
Yeah, usually what I do when I turn my amp on and I use the DSL and I check the effects loop, I usually switch it with my foot and then rake the strings and see if I can hear the delay. And I've never not had that happen. So I don't often look physically at the amp. I just look at the foot switch. And when the light's red, it's usually on. So don't let that put you off if that's an issue or a known issue. I've never experienced that as an actual gigging muso. Like I just set it up and I use the foot switch and I'm done. So, you shouldn't have any problems with that.
Dave Byron asked in the side chat, hey guys, do you like the Fender Super Champ X2?
I never tried one. I thought of getting one to add to my stack. I need a Fender up there, right? A cheaper Fender. They're not too bad price. They're like $400, I think.
I could never dial a tone out of a Champ. Like, you hear the legendary, like Joe Walsh using the crank Champ for Rocky Mountain, or not Rocky Mountain, Funk 49. But I could never dial one in. I wasn't a fan myself.
Got the effects in it, right?
These are different. These are actually pretty cool little amps. They're not hard to get a good, like they've got different sorts of drive channels built in and all that sort of stuff.
So it's different than like just a regular Champ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not the Champ. It's actually a hybrid with a tube preamp.
It's tube and effects,
Philip McKnight and actually Ryan from RNA Music in Texas are two big proponents of the amp. And they say the versatility of it.
I'd like to check one out one day. If one
I did a demo of one about 8 years ago or 7 years ago, and it's one of the best performing videos I think on my channel back then.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really good little amp. If you like
the combo, right? The
head in the box is actually probably a better sound.
Yeah,
but yeah, the combo is pretty cool. They've reissued them recently too, so they are back out.
Right.
Not as an official reissue, they've just started making them again.
Right.
Because there was probably 4 years where you couldn't find them anywhere.
Oh, okay.
At least in Australia, anyway.
Yeah, they're $3.99 in Canada for the head. That'd be pretty cool to pick up. That's not a bad price.
Affordable.
It's a 15-watt head. It's got 16 different amp types, and it's all tube.
There you go.
Sometimes you can find the combos on Kijiji for around $250.
Edward selling his Fender Mustang GT200 if anyone wants to buy one, he said.
Nice. So did they end up fixing that Shane? Because you said it sounded like it was out of phase or something?
It still does. Like,
it still does?
Rick's
Okay.
Still got one. And we've got a video coming up on the new channel where we try that against a couple of other amps. And
nice.
It still sounds the same. I did that cheap guitar video with Rick recently, and he used the 100, and that sounds out of phase. It's only one speaker, so
weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's impressive.
You'd think that they discontinue it by now.
Yeah, I don't think it'll have a long life.
Or embrace it and say that's our thing.
Yeah. No, they need to fix that. It's a real shame. The older generation ones were so much better.
Yeah. I don't hear anybody talking about them other than when you had them when it first came out. They're just not even visible online.
I heard everybody talking about them, talking about how they're reboxing them and returning them.
Yeah.
For every unboxing video, there's a reboxing video.
Yeah.
Jesse says he's got a GE200 and a pair of monitors in my room. That's a great combination, man. I was talking about that at the start of the stream. I got my hands on a GE200 and I love it. I think it's a great home tool, especially if you plugged in the studio monitors. So there's nothing wrong with that sound at all. Yeah.
Very nice.
Cool. No, I'm just going to mention, so we got like 37 people watching. If everybody, I don't know if anybody's not familiar with the other channels here. We got Ben. Check out his channel. We got Shane from In the Blues and Terry. Everybody's got a channel here. We got 3 Canadians against 1 Australian. I don't know.
There we go. I bet I could bench press more than at least 2/3 of. No.
Probably could.
Yeah, I'm 6 feet tall and 145 pounds, Shane. You could probably bench press me all day.
Someone said, why would you want a foot switch for your effects loop? Because you don't always want the effects on. Imagine you're running a modulation effect through the effects loop, getting the most out of the sound. And then you don't want to play that all night. So having it on a foot switch is a whole lot easier. You could, of course, turn the pedal itself on and off, but sometimes it's better just to leave them on and turn the effects loop on and off. It's just a lot easier, especially if you're stacking effects. So I just find that to be the way that I like to use it, is just have the delay pedal actually on the amplifier always on, and then I can turn it on and off with the foot switch that comes with the amp.
Jay Steen, Landon, your videos pretending to be other YouTubers. Oh yeah, okay. I didn't understand what that said. Pretending to be other YouTubers are funny. Yeah, I got a couple of stupid videos.
Yeah, I like the fact that he mentions that, and one of the people you spoof is currently in the Hangout. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. It was good.
Yeah. It was the worst. I can't do an Australian accent. I can do an okay British, and I think who else did I do there? I did American. That's not even really an accent, but
you did China Guitar Skeptic.
Did I do him?
Phil McKnight was hilarious.
Yeah. I did Phil McKnight.
My hand is so big.
What else did I do? I did Hunter. Did Agufish. I did Guitar Geek.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right.
I got another one. I'm working on another one. I got some. I'm practicing my German right now. That's a tough one.
Huh.
If you can guess who that is.
Are you going to be wearing an ugly sweater? Oh wait, you're only doing the mouth.
I'm just doing the mouth. See, originally, I planned there's like this face swap app on my iPad, and it replaces your face, but then the background is what you see here. And I tried that, but it looked messed up. So then it had another setting where it could just do the mouth, which is kind of like a ripoff of, if anybody knows Conan O'Brien back in the 90s, he did something like that. I didn't really think of that till after somebody mentioned that. They're like, "You like Conan O'Brien?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, he did something like that back in the day. He just replace the mouth and have a celebrity and just do stupid stuff."
Yeah.
Anyways,
I got asked about serotonine amps and have I ever thought about getting one? I did for a while. There's a lot of hype around them probably 6 or 7 years ago. A friend of mine flashed out and bought it's basically like a Dumble clone. He bought one called an Overdrive Special or an Overtone Special, one or the other. Something like that anyway. And it was all right. And then I got a chance to test 3 or 4 more from another friend. They were Marshall and Fender clones. And I wasn't overly blown away, to be honest. I like the idea of the serotonine amps, but I'd prefer just to still buy something regular. I think they are good if you're into sort of DIY amps or if you want a hand-wired clone or something. But they don't really nail the sound 100% of the time either. Sometimes they're really good and other times they're not. So I don't want to take the risk on it, to be honest. But they're all right. They're okay. There's been probably a couple that I've heard that have been all right, but look, they're not. It's not really my sort of thing.
Side chat question from Groovy Ghoulie. What's y'all's opinion on Gibson P90 pickups? I recently got a 2013 50s Tribute LP, and I love the sound of the P90s. My first experience with P90s. By the way, I'm curious if there's any other P90s worth trying.
I actually had that exact same guitar.
Is that the one you had?
Yeah, I had the 50s Tribute, and then I bought a custom shop VOS. Right. Tone-wise, with the P90s, I'm pretty sure they're very, very similar.
That was the noisy one, right? You couldn't keep it because of the noise?
Yeah, it was unusable at gigs, unfortunately. I mean, not everywhere, but just at the place I play at every month for 3 years, it was just like, all right, grab the humbuckers. We never took single coil pickups in there. But at the good venues, it sounded great. I really like P90s. Gibson ones are especially great as well. But in terms of other brands, there's plenty of other brands making essentially the same thing. There's hundreds of pickup manufacturers. Just my suggestion is, if you're ever thinking about buying pickups, trawl through as many videos online as you can until you find someone who plays a similar style and amp, and see if you can get, if it's worth upgrading. But to be honest, the Gibson pickups, the Gibson P90s are pretty great. I'd be highly skeptical of you changing them to something else that's hand wired somewhere else and getting a better sound. I think they wouldn't be either any different or not as good. That would be my opinion. I like Gibson P90s. I think they sound great.
Yeah, they also have a P94 version. And in regards to the other winders, I mean, you can get P90 pickups for as cheap as like $24 each. Or you can go to the extreme end and buy Lawlers, which are like $200 each or something like that.
Exactly. I only owned, I think, one guitar with P90s. I had an Ibanez Jet King, and I really regret getting rid of that guitar. That thing, I wrote more music on that guitar than ever in my life on any other guitar. It just inspired me to play.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have a P90. Never had one. Never tried one.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I'm thinking the P100. There's one where it was one that was designed.
Yeah, the P94 is the humbucker-sized P90. Yeah. Richie picked up a pair of them for the Dean 12 string he has.
I had a Squier vintage modified Jazzmaster, which I thought was P90s, but that's a mistake a lot of people make. They look like P90s. The white, they have the same shape, right?
It's the Jazzmaster pickup, and then the Tele pickup in the rear.
It's not a.
That was another unique one that came out of that vintage modified series of Squiers. All these different kind of combinations like that. Tele body with a Jazzmaster neck and Jazzmaster pickup.
Yeah, they've kind of done that again with that their higher end ones. What is it? The alternate universe? Is that what it's called? The Fender
Parallel universe.
Parallel universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alternate.
Yeah, they
universe.
put P90s all over that series, like the P90 Telly. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That P90 Telly is nice.
Telly.
I'll tell you that.
Those are all custom shop guitars.
Yeah, until I saw the price tag. Yeah, they're. It seems to me they're up around the elite category.
Is that the one, the Meteorola or something like that? It looks like a butterscotch with the. Is that the right name?
Maybe.
Yeah, that was the first one to come out, and then they put the other ones out behind it. But yeah, it's a limited run, limited edition.
Yeah.
Cool. We got John's back in the chat there. ZD351 saying
cool.
these guys are still going. Yeah, well, it's getting close to.
So.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 hours. Might wrap it up pretty soon.
2 minutes to midnight.
I'm on my second Pepsi, whatever these are called, and this.
Yeah, you gotta get addicted.
I'm on my second blue of this broadcast.
So this has 70 milligrams of caffeine versus 35 for a Diet Pepsi.
I'm 2/3 of the way through my last cup of coffee.
I think I had 2 beers. Oh, okay. I only had 1 beer during my broadcast. So
that'll put me up until about 3 this morning.
Yeah, no, it's addictive stuff. Look out.
I go through phases. I go no pop for a long time, and then I'll start drinking some again.
yeah, same here.
Has anybody got any questions? Trying to think of something else. Yeah, I already mentioned the gas thing. That was one of the main subjects. If anybody else has any gas ideas or cures for gas, I'm sure Ben's gonna have trouble tomorrow.
I'm wide open tomorrow, but I know I'm buying a guitar. That's all I know. I have no idea what I'm buying, but I'm buying something.
That's crazy.
Just to comment here on what Ghoulie said. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with sticking with the Gibson pickups if you're happy with them. Mm-hmm. But, don't be afraid to, check out something like from a different brand, like Lawler or whatever. Even Lace has a Lace Sensor P90 pickup.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've had that out now for 2 years.
Oh, okay, cool. Did not know that. I like Lace sensors. Some people don't like them, but I think they're pretty cool.
No, they're all right. Yeah, they were just big in the 80s. That's why I think they get a bit of a hard rap. Yeah. I don't know. It depends what you listen to when it comes to Lace sensors. I think when Clapton used his Lace sensors, it wasn't maybe the best tone he ever had, but his tone kind of changed in the 80s. It went because Phil Collins was producing a lot of his stuff, and it changed. It didn't sound as good as it used to. And then, you hear him later life using those pickups, which he doesn't use anymore. But, his tone, it just depends. They got a bit of a bad rap, I think, based on possibly certain recordings of the time. But they're okay. I still feel in a Strat you lose a little bit of top end, but you also lose all the buzz. And it's nothing you can't compensate with a bit of EQ. So I think they're good pickups. There's nothing wrong with them.
Even Jeff Beck, I think, had his that had Lace sensors. I think actually was
Buddy Guy used them. There was a whole lot of dudes using them. And the thing was, like, the bad tone I put in quotations was the TBX circuit. There was a boost circuit that Clapton was using and Buddy were using that made those pickups sound really, really fizzy. Mm-hmm. And that, without that on, you generally get a pretty fine Strat tone. So, I don't know. It just depends on how you use them. And there's probably people that swear by that tone as the best tone ever too. I'm sure that will be the case. But, it's all subjective stuff.
Well, I think the reality was back in the day when Fender did have Lace sensor and Lace was producing those pickups, there was only one model and one style. Right. And they've now since expanded both the single coils, the humbuckers, most of the genres, and the same thing with the single coils. They've got a regular gold classic. They have hot gold now. You also got the set that's the purple silver green or purple silver emerald. Or something like that, which is Billy Corgan used for the early days of Smashing Pumpkins.
Cool.
And they all emulate different things.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of experience with a lot of their pickups, but I put one in one of my old Strats just in the neck position to see what it was like. It was all right.
That reminds me, this is my is that gonna show up here? That logo's not showing up. If anybody knows, come on, too much brightness. That's a mono price. Special. Yeah. $69 American Strat clone. And that's
and you got at least sensors in it?
Yeah, why not? So the pickups are worth more than the guitar. This is actually a decent guitar. It's I'd say it's kind of like in between a Squire and a Mexican.
Wow, cool.
Fender.
Yeah. What sensors are those? Are those golds or are they
blue, silver, red? It's
okay, yeah.
Value pack.
That's the Corgan. I think that's the Corgan set.
It's pretty good. Like, no complaints about this guitar. I replaced everything in it, but the body and the neck, it's got like a satiny finish, kind of like the Mexican line. And yeah, $69. My first mod guitar. This is the first guitar that I bought to start practicing soldering and that kind of stuff on it because I didn't care.
Nothing wrong with that.
Best way to do it.
That's just a prime example of, like you said, a player's a guitar. Mm-hmm. It's a mishmash of parts. Somehow make some type of little magical thing for you.
Sure.
Yeah, it stays in tune. I replaced the tuners. It's got some Grover tuners, and the pots were the Chinese ones. I put in some, I can't remember what I put in. It was a few years ago. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I forgot I had it. I got too many guitars now. I'm losing. No, I don't have too many. I got enough. Some people have too many guitars. Other channels that I know of.
No comment.
I've only got only two of these.
I don't mean you.
Only two of these. Yeah, I didn't think so. I haven't got that many. All mine fit in that cupboard back there, so stacked this way. So I'm good.
I think I'm at about a dozen or so. I don't know.
That's not too bad. I think who was it? I was talking to Nick in the States. I asked him one time. I think he told me at one point he was cycling through about 30 to 50.
Yeah, wow.
Sure.
Yeah,
well, if you're flipping them and stuff too, right? You can have a quote-unquote inventory.
Yeah, I think the person that comes to mind that might have the most is probably Tone King.
Yeah, I would say that would be
Lewis, right?
He's been thing with him is a lot of people give him grief about like how much stuff he's got, because they think it's just because of YouTube. But he was buying that stuff long before he was making videos. Oh, yeah. Like his collection was huge when he first started, right? He didn't just like hoard stuff all of a sudden. He collects gear. That's what he does, So his collection is going to be going. It was going on before YouTube started, and will be going on long after. He'll still be doing that, irrespective if he's making videos or not. So
exactly,
yeah, that's just his thing. And I guess if you've got the space for it, and it's what you enjoy, and it's obviously not. He's a professional in what he does outside of YouTube as well. So that's his thing. His wife lets him do it as well, which is good. So he's laughing.
Well, the reality is if you have the money to do it, then do it. I mean, my friend there that just lives a couple blocks away, out of nowhere, he decided to start playing guitar. And he has a good paying job. His wife has a good paying job. They have a kid. They own their own house. And like I said, when he started looking into wanting to actually try to play guitar, it's like, okay, he looked at this guitar and it's like, And then he started talking to his brother-in-law, and then, like I said, now he owns 3 Gibsons.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
There's worse addictions for sure.
Yeah, totally. And the good thing is,
that's my excuse.
If Tone King ever say, like, you wouldn't want him to lose his job or anything, but if he ever did and he was forced to start purging stuff, he's got a lot of great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be totally fine for like 5 years, So, we had a question here. Why, for Shane and Lando, why did you guys sell your AC10? So for me, it was more about just going back to a Fender sound. That's what it came down to in the end. I had a 30 and a 15. The 30 was just way too big and heavy. I downsized from a Jeep to a Kia, and it didn't fit. I couldn't really get the amp in and out of the car very well in the Kia. So that was kind of why I got rid of that. And it was just a big, heavy, awkward amp to get around. The 15 was great, but at the time I I was starting to really get back into the 6L6 sound, which is the big valves, which give you more headroom and all that. And I just needed more volume. It got to a point where we were playing at, the 15 wasn't loud enough. I could have mic'd it up, and I did that at a few festivals, but even still, I always felt like there were some rooms where we didn't have that luxury, and it wasn't a loud enough amp for the room. I missed that round sound of the Fender. It's weird. My tastes change, and sometimes I go,
for sure.
Yeah, sometimes I want that chimey sound. Other times I don't, and I want the round sound. And the Marshall's kind of like a good middle ground for me. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a Vox, but it's got the big ballsy sound of a Fender amp on the low end. So even though those valves are different to both the Fender and the Vox, I find it it ticks a lot of boxes for me, and it's plenty loud. So for me, it was more of a functionality thing. I don't really have any amps that I can't take out and play live other than the practice amps, which are only for home use. But all of my other 4 have their specific use for a gig situation. So it's just a practicality thing. And I don't have a lot of room here either. Like, this is literally where I shoot my videos against this wall. And then, it's a small area. So I can't really, I don't want to pile any amps above where I've got them now. I just don't have the room either.
I see a huge empty corner right there. Look at all that space.
Over there. That's where the door out is. So
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. You don't need a door.
Yeah, that's the door. I got the posters on the door, so occasionally I'll, it looks like it's the wall, but it's not.
Yeah, when did I sell my AC15? Not too long ago. Maybe last summer, maybe? I think it was around last summer. I found at that point I had the Bandit 112. I had the Katana 100. I have a Fender 85. I think I had like 5 or 6 12-inch combo amps. And it was the one I wasn't playing, and I wanted to get a different guitar. I think that's why I sold it. It wasn't because I didn't want it. It was the one that wasn't getting used. So not out of hate for it or anything like that. But now I've got the AC4, and that's kind of filled. It takes up less space, and I'm still getting, in a small room, I'm getting the tone that I used to get out of the AC15. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, they're good little amps, those things.
It's pretty cool. It wasn't too expensive either. It was about $450, I think.
Oh, that's good. Cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I probably got to get some stuff done this afternoon too, guys. So I'll probably have to make a move. But...
We've been going 2 hours, so I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, I got to get to bed. I'm currently getting picked up in 7.5 hours.
You got to
check that out.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
The entire outside casing of the valve just came straight off.
Let me click on there. Let me click on you.
Wow.
On there.
More proof.
How about that?
Wow.
I tried to take another one out, and the glass literally just fell off. So,
ouch.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that sorted out.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Nice.
It's past midnight here, so it's probably, what time would it be there in Australia? 4 o'clock on Sunday?
Nah, 2 o'clock.
I'm losing my mind right now. 4 o'clock on Sunday. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah,
sure
4 o'clock. You're not
it's Monday next week.
Pops.
Okay, the real reason I sold the AC15 was for my crack addiction, which apparently I need more right now. Anyways. Okay.
Which has now been replaced with a possible PRS addiction.
Yeah.
You won't regret it, man. If you get one, you'll love it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm hooked on mine. I love it.
I'm very interested for sure.
It's a different instrument. It won't sound like anything you got. It won't sound like a Tele. It won't sound like a Strat. It won't sound like Les Paul.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check one out. I think that price isn't too bad either. Maybe I can find one.
The prices
just
on
keep an eye on them secondhand.
Yeah,
just
like you're
really
saying.
good.
I never thought of that. It's not like I'll check out the secondhand market for sure. All right, People are dropping. We're gonna kick everybody off now and take off, and I'm gonna go to bed. I'm losing my mind right now.
Out of here.
Thursday night. This happens every Thursday night. I try to do this. After a while, my brain just shuts down. So it's usually when I make videos too, and so that's why my videos don't make sense.
That's why we love them.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Will do, Zach.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks everyone in the chat as well. That was awesome.
Okay. Good night, everybody. We'll We'll see. Oh, I got a thumbs down. There we go. That was for the what I said about the crack, probably. Okay.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Okay. Good night.
Yeah.